Grab your big book, your pen, your highlighter, and notepad and get ready to hear and apply some of the solution from the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous through the experience, strength, and hope of Nikki M. To have a question addressed in a future episode of Noodle It Out with Nikki, please send an email to noodlewithnikki@gmail.com, and Nikki is spelled with 2 Ks. To get a more interactive experience with Nikki as she noodles out life and recovery questions using the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, you can get a link to her weekly Noodle It Out with Nikki meeting held live on Zoom every Monday morning at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. The information to that meeting is in the show notes of this podcast.
Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Ahmed. I'm a grateful, recovered, qualified member of multiple fellowship. Please grab your big book, pen, your highlighter, and notepad, and get ready to hear and apply solution from the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous through the experience, strength, and hope of Nikki M. This meeting will be recorded. Today is the last day of the Big Book sponsorship workshop, which will be introduced by Nikki M., the intelligent agent, spearhead of God ever advancing creation. Before we start the meeting, I want to take the opportunity to thank you so much, and thanks Lisa and Everly so much again for the support, the service, your time, and carrying the message. It was really great workshop. And I want to thank everyone for attending this meeting. I'm so grateful for you all. Nikki, say hello to everyone, please.
Hi, everybody. I'm Nikki M., and I'm a grateful member. We've had a good time, and watching you, sir, child of God, and I'm just so grateful because to watch a man be reborn restores my faith in humanity. You've been returned whole to your family. And again, the endless thanks. So what we've done here, let's just recap. We have the Big Book sponsorship, Big Book work guide. The website's there. It's basically bigbooksponsorship.org. And you can download the workbook. And we went through and we are now on steps 10, 11, and 12. See, the steps are 1 through 9. And then we live the disciplines of step 1 through 9 every day by working step 10. We seek God in step 11. And in step 12, not only do we sponsor, we practicing principles in all our affairs, in your home, in your occupation, and with everybody. I mean, this is not easy. Okay. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to recap from our Big Book sponsorship. This workbook was put together by Cameron F., my sponsor in Toronto. This is how powerful God is. He lives right across the street from me, literally. He condensed the Big Book into a 30-page workbook. Now, this workbook does have 40 pages. I tend not to use all the stories and all that stuff. This workbook does come with meeting. Every month, we meet on the last Sunday of the month. I don't go every month anymore because I went for about 6 years. Now I just go on occasion to present a step. My sponsees, I encourage them to go every month, okay? Now, you are just now joining us, and later there's also 3 previous sessions recorded, step 1, 2, step 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and now we're here at 10, 11, and 12. And at the beginning, we just book appointments. Remember, we don't hear drunkalogs. We don't hear real stories. I tell my sponsee, print your workbook. Let's make appointments. Now, I just want to recap real quick, and then we're going to jump right into step 10. I like to just open up again to page 3, and I'm going to do some role playing. And I'm a retired burlesque entertainer, so I know how to role play. And this isn't the kind I'm talking about. I'm talking about Big Book sponsorship role play. I'm the sponsor and the sponsee right now. Okay, Nikki, we're going to go to step 10, but I want to recap real quick. Normally, as I said before, I book 2-hour appointments, but now we're at the end of the sessions. You only need 1-hour appointments, really. And then we'll talk about the aftercare later when we finish step 12. But here it is. Sponsee, can you please recap what you've learned so far? Okay, Nikki. Well, I thought I just had whatever it is, whatever your drug of non-choices, if you're an alcoholic, if you're a drug addict, if you're a sex addict, a food addict, I don't care what it is. We have found out that we have a big problem called alcoholism, the disease of self and the disease of my sick thinking. And one more thing, how about this? The disease of my old belief system, my old programming. And what you told me, I only want to hear sponsee Big Book speak. Okay, sponsor. You told me on page 3 of my workbook that helping others is the foundation stone of my recovery and that I'm helping you more than you're helping me. On page 4 of this workbook, I learned that I'm sick. I learned that I cannot differentiate between the true and the false, that my addict life is my only normal one, and that I need an entire psychic change, a mind and soul change. And this is not in the book, Nikki, but you did tell me I need one every day. That's right. Page 5, Sponsy, what did you learn? I learned that I'm beyond human aid, and that nothing will keep me permanently abstinent, and that I lost everything. My life is unmanageable, and this is how I qualify when I honestly want to quit my thinking, quit my sick behaviors, quit my sick belief system, and I can't control the amount of anything I take. I'm suffering an illness which only a spiritual solution will conquer. Awesome. See, when you're speaking at a meeting, you guys, you can use this. Recently, my beautiful sponsee there, Huckmead, you've been asked to speak at meetings lately. This is your script. You can just take one thing off each page and talk around it. It's talking points. You can present. You can become a better speaker through this process. You can take one line off each page and talk about it like this on page 6. I learned that our behavior patterns vary. See, my sponsor I'm just talking to, Huckmead, he's an alcoholic, drug addict, and a bunch of other things, sir. And I have all the disease of alcoholism, but I don't qualify for alcoholic because I can take it or leave it. That's child's play for me. But I can't take or leave you if you're my lover and you want to leave me. We're going to die together. Spooky. Okay, what else did you tell me? Oh, you told me I get worse, never better. And then you can talk about that if you wanted to. And I like to blot out my consciousness with men and money. I used to do it with crystal meth, but again, that's a type 2 thing for me. And I went on to the strongest, most powerful drug on the world is a human. I used to snort my children and then I moved on to. It's crazy. Okay, I digress. Page 7, what did you learn? Well, I learned that half measures avail me nothing. Page 8, well, it was interesting, sponsor. You told me this is how I live life. I'm to have a sincere desire to be helpful, no fees to pay, no people to please, no lectures to endure, and that I'm to make the approach. I want people desperate, including my son. Page 9. Well, I learned that I'm going to find God deep down inside. I'm going to find the great reality deep down inside. And that I need to search diligently within myself. That's the only place I'm going to find this power. Page 10, I learned that I'm selfish and self-centered. That's the root of my trouble. Page 11, I learned I have to take a sincere position every day to abandon myself. Page 12, I learned that resentment, not my baby daddy number 2. I just have to laugh today because I am so sick that my old thinking is so gross. And that, I can go to the gym and try and get that tight body back again that I had when I was 18, but none of that will straighten out until my spiritual maladies overcome. I loved what you taught me, sponsor, on page 13, that this is a life instruction, that I'm always to put out of my mind everything that other people have done. I'm to disregard everyone and everything entirely, and I'm always to blame. I'm always at fault. That's a hard one for me to accept, sponsor, because remember, I came from the room of Al-Anon, sex and love, codependency, all that crap. It's always you. But I found out, you showed me it's always me. And then I'm sicker than the heroin addict. We have a good time here. Step 5, you also told me this, sponsor. This is not just for sponsoring. This is for life. I've got to talk to the right person. I've got to think well before I take intimate and confidential steps with anybody. And this blew my mind, the exact nature of my wrong. The exact nature is I'm selfish and self-centered. I thought the exact nature was that I stole someone's husband. No, Nikki, it doesn't say actions. It says, why did you do it? Okay, on page 18, well, I'm either living in column 4 or column 5. Big time. Page 18, I'm either in my self-will or I'm with this power called love. Okay, page 19, well, step 6. What was interesting is that you told me that if I cling to something, if I can't forgive anybody, you told me to ask God. You told me not to call my sponsor, which is you. And this was interesting. It's not in the book and it's not big book speak, but you said, stop doing the things I want to do. You told me to be willing to stop doing the things I want to do. And if I roll to page 20, you told me to get real humble. That's hard for me. That's hard for me, Nikki M. And you told me to start doing the things I don't want to do, like forgiving people that I said I would never forgive, like showing up and admitting I'm always at fault. Thank you for that, sponsor. Sorry, step 8, page 21, because we're in a big book sponsorship workbook guide. We're just recapping. Then we're going to launch into step 10, page 21. Step 8, list of people I harmed. You're so cool, sponsor, and you just told me the entire human race, right? You can get radical, and I want to hear a couple names. You told me, sponsor, that you want to hear a couple names, but the reality is I've harmed everyone. Step 9. See, you told me too, sponsor, that I'm to work all these steps every day. I'm to wake up and admit I'm powerless. I have to believe and have hope every day that this power, if I make a decision to not only be a member, but to be a child of God and be an agent, if I'm always looking at why I do what I do, not what I do, if I admit it, if I start living in the disciplines of 6 and 7 by getting humble and willing, if I look at this list every day, all humans, and if I do this, if I make direct amends, meaning what did I learn on page 22? That this is my course. The people who wrong me are sick, just like me. That the rule is to be hard on myself, not self-loathing, Nikki, just to be considerate of others. You told me on page 23 that I have to ask God every day to mold my ideals. You told me that I don't dodge anybody, especially creditors, and that it takes innumerable forms, too many ways to count the way I'm going to show up for the human race moving forward. You're such a good sponsor. You're such a good sponsee. We love each other. I know. Okay. And now we're right here on page 24 with it. This was radical. You told me that I have to, number 1, get permission before I even think about an amends. You told me, number 2, I have to consult with others, the properly appointed authority. And you told me to ask God, because I'm just running around doing what I think I need to do, which is write a letter. And it says here, if the person can't be seen. And it says, don't worry about some of your mistakes if you can honestly say that you would write them if you could. And it says, remember that decades of addiction and alcoholism makes a skeptic out of everyone, Nikki. You abuse people for decades, even for months, even for years. It's going to take a while for them to forgive you. Don't leave, stay is what you told me. And then we read the promises. And now we're going into step 10. See, that recap, everybody. We're 15 minutes into this meeting. Do you see what we have to do every day, all day? And that's how you could, that's 15 minutes in a talk. Say you're a lead on a meeting. There's your meeting lead. Say you're in a big book room and someone asks you to speak. Do it that way. Why? We don't need your drunk-a-log. We all know what it's like to be selfish and self-centered, driven by 400 forms of madness. I don't need your dirty details. See, that was a good presentation in 15 minutes of what this program is about. If you get another 10, you can close it out with steps 10, 11, and 12. So here we go. Step 10, we continue. That's a process, not an event. You continue every day, every single day to take personal inventory. Personal. See, I spent my last month with the man I love taking his inventory, and that did not work out well for me. During COVID, I was busy taking my government's inventory. That did not work out well for me. And sometimes I take my 32-year-old daughter and my 20-year-old son's inventory, and that, parents, never works out for me. Remember, we practice these principles in all our affairs, and wow, I've been failing. But I'm here showing up 12 years later. I'm not going to leave. I'm not leaving. You're stuck with me. Here we go. And when. It doesn't say if, it says when we're wrong. So you're going to mess up. And when you get deeper into the big book, it's going to tell you, you will make mistakes and you're not a saint. Promptly, which is fast, you better admit it. What does that look like? Remember, it told us to stand tall as God's people. I was wrong. I can do better. If you're listening at a later date, some of you are looking at me on camera. I'm going to get my back straight. I'm going to take a deep breath, and I'm going to look at you in the eye and say, I was wrong. I can do better. See, wrong. We admit our wrongs. Remember, we don't complain. This is exact instructions. Okay, process. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Step 10 suggests we continue. That's me, NM. I continue a process to take personal. That's NM's, Nikki's inventory. Step 4. See, this is a step 4 every day. I have to put out of my mind the wrongs others have done. Where are you at mistake, Nikki? Where are you at fault, Nikki? Where are you to blame? It does not say what is my part, Al-Anon members in the big book with me now. It says you continue the process to set right any new mistakes, not just the old ones, the new ones as we go along, because you will make mistakes. Are you willing to do this? Yes. I love this next line, and let's park it here for one moment. It says, and the rooms are getting it wrong, and I'm going to ask the 30 plus souls on this meeting to go into your rooms and wake up people when you hear this. It says, we That's Nikki. I vigor with vigor, no half measures, acronym NHM, no half measures. I start this way of living. And here it is, as. Circle that, square it, star it, highlight, as, because a lot of sponsors hold their sponsees here going, hey, go out and make your amends. Go out and I want you to make 5 amends. But excuse me, sponsor, I just entered the spirit world. You told me to vigorously commence this way of living as, not once, as I clean up the past. See, I may need to work a 12-step program. I may need to sponsor before I can even make an amends. I may need to live in the spirit world for a minute before I can go out to daddy number 2 and say, I was wrong. What can I do? You understand, this takes time. If my sponsor would have told me the minute we finished step 9 to go to these people, I would have ran. And that's why we lose people in these rooms, because that's not what it effing says. It says as. Doesn't say once. It doesn't say when we clean up the past. It says as we clean up the past. It says, are you willing to do this? Yeah. So I'm willing, my sponsee and me, I'm willing to start living this way. What way? The instructions on the previous 24 pages in our workbook. And here's why I need to vigorously commence this way of living as I clean up, because Nikki has just entered the world of the spirit. And here it is, because we're going to mic drop it. I want you to send this tape to anybody who argues with you that you've got to stay on a step 9, making amends. It says my next function is to grow in understanding and effectiveness. It doesn't say our next function is to run out and make the amends that are meaningless because my sponsor told me to go do it. Does that make sense to everybody? Have you heard these rumors in the rooms? Look at all these rumors running me every day.
Yeah, Nikki, can we roll it back for a second? Or mention taking someone else's inventory. Can you describe what that looks like? For those that are not familiar with that terminology and are hearing it for the first time.
Let's go deep on that, Everly. Here it is. That's our co-host here, Everly. What it looks like is you do this to me. That's your inventory. You're stupid. You're boring. You don't please me. My government is stupid. They don't know what they're doing. Hey, I'm not prime minister. I must be stupid because he's got the job. That's what it looks like. It looks like you. We speak from I statements, never you. Just put that note in there. That's not in the big book. But how did I learn that? I learned that in the rooms, and I'm always hard on Al-Anon, but Al-Anon taught me how to be quiet, because we don't have crosstalk in Al-Anon. We do not give advice at all in Al-Anon. It's very soft, very gentle. So you just listen. When someone's dying at the meeting, you don't even look at their way, really. You let them cry. And then after the meeting, you make the approach. That's been my experience in Al-Anon. But we never say you should in Al-Anon or in any room. So what does it look like taking another person's inventory? You. So let's all speak from I statements. I hope that answers your question. So back to the workbook, page 25. Our next function is to grow in understanding and effectiveness. It's not to run out and make a bunch of amends that are meaningless. Unless, of course, you have the willingness. Some amends I can make right away because they're living amends. I can start suiting up and showing up, making men, women, making your partners happy, feeding your children rather than going through a drive-through. You can start making amends and showing up instantly. And then it says this is not an overnight matter. If you listen to the Rico 12 podcast, it very clearly says stay. We don't say keep coming back. We say stay. Justin does. Thank you. It's not an overnight matter. It's a process. It should continue for your lifetime. I want to be one of those people that just lives and dies here. And I don't mean just in the meetings, in the rooms. I'm talking about I want to stay and be a trusted servant. I don't want 12 step to be my life sitting in a meeting. And that's the only life I have. I want a big life outside of the rooms. But it says we set apart 1 night a week. That's not in this. That's in the big book. And we got to give freely. So I want this to continue for my lifetime. Remember, we read we're in the grip of a progressive illness. So we continue to watch. That's an important word. Are you watching? And I do 2 podcasts, one with Noodle Nikki and one line by line through the big book. And there's our spearhead, one of them, David G, says, watch before it happens, everybody. So it's a process. So you keep watching for selfishness. Don't wait till the selfishness is there. Keep watching. We're on watch. My brother's in the military. He's a retired captain of a nuclear-powered submarine, graduated from Annapolis. And I'm going to tell you right now, his crew watched on that submarine. I went on one. They're cool. I went on one of these submarines. They're really cool. And they have guys that just watch. They just watch. That's all they do. So we got to watch for selfishness, dishonesty, resentment, and fear. Step 4, all damn day, putting out of your mind, where are you at fault? Where are you to blame? And when, we're on page 25 of our big book sponsorship workbook, and when these crop up, it doesn't say if, it says when. We ask God. We ask love. We ask being responsible. Come on, I'm responsible. You're a woman of God, Nikki. Fast at once to remove them. Come on, the power of love will remove this hate that you have for your neighbors. Step 3, step 7. God, I offer myself to thee. My creator, remove this fear right now so I can be useful to those around me. So simple, you guys. And then we discuss them. What are we discussing? Go back. You're discussing your selfishness, your resentments, your fear, your dishonesty with someone. See, doesn't say sponsor, a PAA, a properly appointed authority. And everybody, please go to somebody who speaks big book. I made that mistake recently. I went to someone I love. They're in program, but they don't speak big book. And so I took the wrong directions. And I'm paying the price. It wasn't her fault. You understand? So now what I've done from that experience, strength, and hope, if I come to you and anybody on here or anybody, if you hear me in the future, and I do freak out a lot, this is not an overnight matter. I'm getting better, less than I used to. Only speak big book to me when I'm blacked out in my selfishness, my dishonesty. I need to know the exact instructions. Please, okay? And says immediately fast because it will eat at your soul. You're doing a step 5. Do you see how you're always in here? Step 1, you can't take a personal inventory unless you admit you're powerless. You can't do any of this unless you make a decision. You're always in step 4 and 5 all day. And then you make amends, step 8 and 9. You're always living in the disciplines of 7 and 6. Quickly. I don't know if you can hear my snapping, fast, snap, fast, if we've harmed anyone. And a lot of the times, remember everybody, deep down inside every man, woman, and child is a fundamental idea of God. If you hurt someone, you automatically hurt yourself. So I don't need you on a 4th step. I don't need to hear how you hurt yourself. Because Nikki, the minute you hurt anyone, you are hurting yourself. We are all one. Spirit world, we are all one. Then we resolutely, and here it is, turn our thoughts. Nikki, I'm at work. I can't go help somebody. It doesn't say run out. It says turn your thoughts. See, I've been here 12 years and I just solved that probably 6 months ago. Turn your thought life. Turn your thoughts. Resolutely is a no half measures to someone we can help. Love and tolerance is our code. We're in a gang. Okay, I want to get through this. These are the promises. Love and tolerance, all of column 5. Always take your sponsee back to column 5, page 18 in your workbook. You're either in God's will or your will. And love and tolerance. How about being responsible? Nikki, this one. How about being kind? See, I'm responsible, but Nikki, you're not kind. Whoa. I'm real responsible. I'm not kind. And that's why I sponsor. Because I'm right here reminding myself. I'm speaking the truth over myself constantly. I'm never out of the book. I'm never out because I sponsor. Okay, step 10, promises. This is your big fat paycheck. This is the description of a recovered person. This is a description of the child of God in you. And we have ceased fighting anything or anyone. Not just alcohol, drugs, and obsessive compulsive behavior. I have ceased fighting my need to be right. I always got to send that last text. I always got to get in that last word. I always need to justify, rationalize, and explain so you will understand me. See, I like to give this example. Some of my friends, I see my friends on here who follow another book called the Bible, and there's a radical person, and he said they were screaming at him. You say you're the king of the Jews. You say you're the son of God. What do you have to say for yourself? If that's what you think I am. Can you imagine if we all answered like that? If your wife is on you, nagging you to death, and you're like, if that's what you say, honey. That's a miracle. I'm looking at your faces. Oh, and boyfriends and girlfriends. Can you imagine? I don't do that. I get into cat mode. But that's not what we do here, because sanity, it says, for by this time, sanity will have returned. That is your step 2 promise fulfilled. Remember, we came to believe that a power could restore us to sanity. Sanity has returned. There's your step 2 Promise. We all have hope. We, Nikki, will seldom be interested in acting out behaviors of any sort. If I'm tempted, see, I love when people 7 years sober go, I need a drink. No, you don't. You haven't even worked a step if 7 years later you need a drink. Because what I'm recoiling from is, I don't need a man. I don't need money. I need to not be angry. That's number one. I got to recoil from anger, because that's automatically, God lifted that obsession of you beautiful men. I see you all as brothers. I see all the women as just earth angels. I see everybody in a different light. It's not the people. It's not my money. It is literally tempted to be right. If tempted to be heard, if tempted to want anything other than God, I need to recoil from that like a hot flame. We react sanely and normally, and we will find that this has happened automatically, meaning you have no choice. And so guess what? If you are not connected to the power, you do not react sanely and normally. It's so subtle. You're getting mad at someone. You're judging someone. It's a long time before you're going to pick up the drink, the food, the gambling, the crack, the crystal meth, the shopping spree, the porn, the hookers, ladies of the night, men of the night. We see that our new attitude, see, that's what we're here to get, towards obsessive compulsive behavior, towards liquor, towards anything other than God, has been given to us, right? Our new attitude towards all of that other stuff has been given to us without any thought. Those are the miracles, you guys. That's a miracle. Or effort. Why? We're just following these instructions, and we keep falling down and getting back up and holding each other up. It just comes. It's a miracle. That is the miracle of it. You know, I love when they say, back into the Bible, like they say, and I know he's a prophet for you guys in your Quran, and it says, make a blind man see. Hakmid, you're a blind man and you see. Like, I've witnessed a blind man see. You see, these are all metaphors. They're not just for these people way back when. They're for me right now to watch a blind man see again. Miracles. Okay. We're not fighting it. Neither are we avoiding temptation. We feel as though we've been placed in a position of neutrality. There you are. You're neutral. I'm neutral. I'm like a tree with deep, deep roots. You can't uproot me. Think of a tree and the roots go way down. Tall trees have deep roots, right? My family's Lebanese. We love the cedar tree, right? It's like so beautiful. The roots go down real far. Nothing can move us. We're safe and protected by this power of love. We haven't sworn off. Instead, the problem has been removed by God, by working the steps. It does not exist. We are neither cocky. God, see, this is why I need to be in this room. I get cocky. My ego gets rebuilt. I know it. You don't need to tell me what to do. Nor are we afraid. I can't do this. I can't. No, we just get neutral. God's got this. What's going to happen, God? What's going to happen, God? What's going to happen, God? That's how we react as long as we keep in fit spiritual condition. How do you keep in fit spiritual condition? You work the 12 steps all day, every day. So simple. You work the 12 steps all day, every day. Don't you see that step 10 is living in the disciplines of step 1 through 9 all day? And the most important thing, Sponsi, what did you hear? I heard that my next function is to grow in understanding and effectiveness, not to run out and make a bunch of a meaningless amends because people have been taught the wrong way. I learned I have to vigorously commence this way of living as. There you go. Step 10. Can you teach it? Yep. Page 26 has a step 10 personal inventory. It says brush it off, let it go, pause and pray, put pen to paper. This is a checklist for lazy people like me. And you know what? My friend said to me today, a sponsor, we come in shoulder to shoulder. She's my sponsor, but she sponsored me today. And she said, wow, it sounds like you both, we were talking about a situation. She said, it sounds like both of you are in column 4. And I said, you know what? I'm literally living in column 4 and column 5 because I'm in forgiveness, but I am angry. I'm getting humble by leaving this situation. But, you know, I'm in a little bit of self-loathing. How did I wind up here? I'm in active. I'm getting active, but I'm also being lazy. Like this, I'm living in both. So the object of this game, daily education in Earth School, or what Bill W. said is spiritual kindergarten right here, is I need to be in column 5 in my assets in God's will more than in column 4. Check it off. There you go. Step 11, page 27. Look at everybody. We recapped. That's 35 minutes into this. We did a step 10. We've recapped steps 1 through 9. Can you imagine? That's a 30-minute talk. Can you imagine if people went up there and did that rather than sat and took us hostage about a drunkalog for 5 million years? And then I'm like, oh my God, when's the speaker going to shut the... No, I'm sorry. There I am judging again. But my point is we can be better speakers. We can carry the message better through this workbook. It's condensed. We can hit it home right to the point. It's cool, right? Okay, step 11. Okay, so here it is. Thought. That means we're seeking God. We're seeking through prayer. Prayer is talking to God, and meditation is listening. Here's a key word, everyone, to improve. I've talked about it a lot. I have a 40-year-old Victorian house in downtown Toronto. God has gifted it to me to be the steward of this home. And if I just maintain my 120-year-old house, it's not going to be retaining any value. You understand? I mean, 1920s, even go to the 70s, carpet was everywhere. Someone had to upgrade to wood floors. Like, you understand, more modern kitchen, more modern appliances. It was a fireplace, no heating, 130 years old, 40, whatever. My sponsor's wife knows all the history on my house. I got to get it from her again. Anyway, if I don't improve my house with upgrades, you see, we got to upgrade constantly, go deeper. If I don't upgrade, last night, my iPhone, this is the only thing I have. I don't even have a computer. It upgraded to, I think, a system software of 18.1, whatever this means. And now my emojis are bigger and they look brighter. We got to keep upgrading so we look bigger and brighter. We got to upgrade, not just our phones. We got to improve. It doesn't say maintain. Our conscious contact, that means we got to be wide awake. Everybody wake up your consciousness every day. Wakey, wakey. Not bakey, bakey, you potheads. It's wakey, wakey. Your conscious contact with God, with love, with this power. As we understood God. Remember, I'm going to just insert this because I found this today when I was doing my podcast. I want to remind you, you get to pick your God here. And just a side note here on page 10 in our big book, not in our workbook, but I just love this line. It really smacked me in the head today. When they talked of a God, it's on page 10 of your big book, personal to me, who was love, superhuman strength, and direction. Take your sponsee there. See, it's a God personal to you. And our book describes it as love, superhuman strength, and direction. Nothing can touch me. I need to stay on that page for the rest of my life. Praying. So there's one part. We're going to seek God, and then we're going to pray only for knowledge of God's will. I've been praying lately for God to make changes in my life, for me. It doesn't say, Nikki, pray for you. It says pray for knowledge of God's will for you and the power to carry that out. You know how many times I'm in a chat and everyone's like, pray for me, pray for me. This is not what our book says. We don't do what other people do. See, other people can go into a chat and say, pray for me. That's not what our book says. We're to pray only for knowledge of God's will. Step 11, we are on page 27 of our big book sponsorship workbook. Step 11 suggests prayer, talking to God, and meditation, listening to God. Are you willing to do this? Yes. And make sure your sponsee knows always their homework. You better go to AA, the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, page 85, and I want you to highlight this. And I want you, because you're not walking into a meeting with your workbook, you are walking into a meeting with your big book. And at least if you are a newcomer and you haven't read every page line by line through 164 pages of our big book, you at least know when you get to page 85, you can talk on that. Are you willing to do this? Yes. Step 11 instructions. And this is interesting. I always wonder, why do they start at night? And this is my experience, strength, and hope. If I don't do this at night, I won't wake up in the morning. Life will be too big. The monkey, no, the ape. It's not even a little mukaku. It's not even a little monkey. It is an ape that is going to tear, an 800-pound ape that's going to tear me open if I don't retire. When we retire at night, that means that when I go to bed, the PM focus constructively, Nikki is to constructively, hey, people, that doesn't say self-loathe. Remember, that's a character defect. We are to constructively, I was wrong, I can do better, review my day. My day, not my mom's day, not my coworker's day, my day. Was I resentful? Were we resentful, selfish? Remember, we're watching for these things constantly. We're watching for this resentful, this selfishness, this dishonesty, and are we afraid? Step 10. Do we owe an apology? And remember, see, this is where we start to come together. An apology, remember we read in step 9, a remorseful mumbling that we are sorry won't fit the bill. We are to admit our wrongs. Do we owe someone a correction? I was wrong. What can I do to make this better for you? And a lot of the time it's in my head and people will go, you're crazy, Nikki, you're overthinking. Sometimes people will come up to me and say something. I'm like, you're crazy. Do you think people are thinking that? You're only thinking about yourself. They have moved on from that moment about what you said. No one's thinking about what you said. No one's thinking that much about you as much as you are thinking about you. And they'll just take this, especially you codependents. Oh no, I farted in front of this person. They're going to tell the entire world and then you can't live. A little fuso. That's a fart in Arabic, isn't it? Fuso? Fuso? I don't know. We'll talk Arabic later. Anyway, here we go. See, it will eat your soul if you don't, because you have to talk. It says right here, have we kept something to ourselves? And that's why we need to talk about it, big or small, because I can bring you back into the reality that, Nikki, you farting in public is not going to ruin, you're not going to get fired from your job. Like whatever it is, it's so minute. And your sponsee will take that little booger and blow that into like, I'm no good. No one loves me. I should kill myself. You hear me? And sometimes killing yourself is not like a gun to your head like my mom's husband. It's sometimes like, let me just go pick up that drink. Let me just go hit that pipe one more time. Let me just call my ex-girlfriend to get some validation. Meanwhile, my wife's asleep in bed, or my boyfriend. I know women who keep a black book just in case. The just in case. What page are we on? We're on page 27 in our workbook, the PM focus, where it says, have you kept something to yourself, to Nikki, which you should discuss with another person, a big book sponsor, a properly appointed. Hey, if you robbed a bank, don't call me. Call the cops. I'm not the properly appointed authority for that. At once, very fast. Step 5. Were we kind and loving towards all? See, circle the word all. Because I heard this when I first came in. If you're listening to this way in the future, in 2099, there was a basketball player. His name was Michael Jordan. He had to take all of the shots all of the time. Because if he didn't take all of the shots all of the time, he's not going to get really good at it. Right? But of course, he missed some of the shots some of the time because he couldn't get a perfect shot every time. So we have to practice being kind and loving towards all because we're going to mess up a lot. You see, at the beginning, oh man, you're lucky if you can get 3 out of 10 people. Longer you stay. Nikki's pretty good. I'm maybe at 7 out of 10. And the 3 people I mean to, my lovers, my lover, the man I love, full stop. My son, I'm hardest on them. But to the other 7 strangers, wow, they think I'm the best. That's not how it works, Nikki. Anyway, I digress. What could Nikki have done better? It doesn't say perfect. Perfectionists, Virgos out there, type A's. It just says better. Were we thinking of ourselves most of the time? That's a big yes. I'm always thinking of me. But right now we've got to get in the spirit world, so it should be a no. Or are you thinking of what you could do for others? I spend a lot of time thinking about what I can do for others. I mean, Saturday night I spoke at 2 meetings. I don't even do night meetings. I woke up Sunday, drove an hour and a half. It was snowing. My friend took me to this meeting to speak at a medallion. 14 years she had sober. I've been on the phone all day doing this I'm always thinking of others. What could I pack into the stream of life? Here it is. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. It doesn't say, hurry up, get in, everybody get in, hurry. No, it says, gently down the stream. Stop and smell the roses, Nikki. Look at the birds. They don't worry. Why do you? Pack into the stream of life. Human being. And this is one of my favorite lines here. And I just want you to circle these words. It says, but we must. But I want you to circle this. Must not drift. You can put a little note out, line out, says, page 59, may you find him now. So if you drift out of this very moment, there's no God. See, it says, I can't drift into worry, remorse. Oh my God, look what I did. Morbid reflection. How my kids in the garbage for that? How could I have done that to my wife? We're not allowed to do that because that would diminish. Google the word, my little Habibis who are not speaking English perfectly. And I don't blame you. Got 2 languages. You're smarter than me. Diminish means you're non-existent and then you can't be useful to others. Step 12. After making our review, and remember, it's your review of your day. Wives, stop reviewing your husbands, your bosses. Men, stop reviewing other men. Look at yourself. We gossip a lot in the rooms. I do it. I'm guilty of it. And we ask God's forgiveness. Step 7, and we inquire what corrective measures should be taking. Remember, we're constantly course correcting. Okay, can you teach that paragraph? And the most important thing, Sponsy, don't drift off, must not drift off. Where do you find God? Right here, right now. Don't look at tomorrow. Don't look at yesteryears. Stay here with me. Radical mindfulness right here. Most mindfulness course you'll ever take, and it's free in Alcoholics Anonymous. AM focus. When you wake up, on awakening, the moment you wake up, before you go pee, before you go get your cup of coffee, you are to think, meditate about the 24 hours ahead. You're to consider your plans for the day. Here it is. Number 1 is family. Number 2 is your job. Number 3 is the newcomer, in that order. And I have not been doing that. And so I've been destroying relationships. I've been thinking about the newcomer, job, and then last is family. Okay, so I have to consider my plans for the day, which is living in column 5. Before I begin, are you doing this every morning? Because I certainly forget. I have to ask God to direct my thinking. Step 3, use me, God. Keep it simple. Use me, God. Direct my thinking. And I need to especially ask that I be divorced. That means I'm married to self-pity. I'm married to the bondage of Nikki. Self-pity, dishonesty, and self-seeking motives. I am married to column 4 unless I wake up and follow these instructions to the best of my ability every day. Under these conditions, what conditions, Nikki? Thinking about the 24 hours ahead. That is your slogan, just for today. There's your slogan makers. Just for today, I'm going to think about the 24 hours ahead. I'm going to consider my plans, and family's always number 1. I'm going to ask God to direct my thinking because it centers in my mind, and I'm going to be divorced. See, under those conditions, we, Nikki, can employ our mental faculties with assurance. See, I can be sure. It's guaranteed. Why? Dive deep here, everybody. And here it is. God gave us brains to use. We are humans. We're not mukakus. We're not monkeys. We're not my 4-pound dog. Why am I acting like a sleeping, fornicating, defecating monkey, mukaku? I'm a woman of God. God gave me brains. And I love this line, our thought life. Everybody, we entered a spirit world, remember? And now we're on a thought life. And it's happened for me so much lately. Whatever I think happens, good or bad. Whatever you think will come true, good or bad. So watch your thought life so you can place it on a much higher plane, column 5, God's will, when our thinking is cleared of wrong motives. I'm a servant of God, wanting nothing in return. Remember we read that in the, I think it was the Essentials to Recovery on page 8. was that we're to have a sincere desire, wanting nothing in return. Do you guys see the big book dance now? Let's get on to page 28. I want to get this done and get this within, I want to hurry up here. So 28, midday focus. That means every hour on the hour. If you're like me, Nikki M, and some of my friends, in obsessing about our day, it says thinking, but we obsess. We may face indecisions. I don't know what to do, Nikki. Nikki may not be able to determine which course to take. Here, we let God, you better let column 5, love, being responsible, being selfless. You better ask this for inspiration, an intuitive thought or a decision. I love this line. We relax and ask your sponsees, what do you like to do? Because remember, they're new in the spirit world. What do they think is relaxing? Going to the bar, flirting with men and women, shopping. What do you do to relax? Get them into new things. Remember, not the logs, and I'm going to say it right now. The logs now become tools. See, the logs now become tools. So the gym, when it's powered by God, is actually helpful. My church, my mosque, my synagogue, my yoga mat, my native sweat lodges, my Rasanaya bingis, these things become tools when powered by God. But if they're not powered by God, they're logs. So make sure you wake up. How do you like to relax? I love to go to my little local mall because I'm queen of it. I'm queen of the ghetto mall. And I like to shop. Sometimes I'll give myself like a $20 limit, and I'll get myself I love to get one of those like mango slushies with none of those beads in it. I do love those little tapioca pearls, but they're filled with sugar. The bubble tea. I'll get no sugar. They'll do it for you. You can ask. Remember, I tap power. So I just say what I want. And they're like, yeah, okay, sure. I like to go for a walk with my neighbor. I love that. We'll just walk. She's a little speed walker. We don't struggle. Well, now, as you guys know, I like to relax and take it easy in my hot tub. In the hot tub. James Brown sings about it. In the hot tub. Get in a hot tub. Go to a spa. And this is not the kind that's going to take all your problems away. This is the kind where you're thinking and meditating on God. Okay? And then here it is. And this is true for me and some of my friends who've been here for a while. We are often surprised. We talked about miracles, how the right answers will come after we tried this for a while. Nikki, I'm not feeling better. You've been here for 12 months. Nikki, I'm not feeling better. You've been here for 36 days. Comedy hour in the rooms. Stay. Remember to check your motives. Now, this is here. This is real important. This is not in the big book, but write all the notes in your big book. Write this test, self-will test. And I wrote it on page 86 of my big book. Is what I'm saying, doing, thinking, being dishonest, resentful, selfish, or fearful? Highlight this. You need only one. Only one. Only one of those defects to be in self-will. God's will. I don't know what God's will is for me, Nikki. Well, did you test your thoughts, your actions, your words? I don't test my words. I need to work on that. Words have power. Are you testing these things against, is it honest, Nikki? Yeah, what I said was honest. Nikki, is what you said pure? Yeah, it was pure. It was unselfish. This person is dying. Well, Nikki, but was it loving? No. No, it wasn't loving what I said. And it must have all 4 principles. So I'm automatically in my will. This is not easy. You see why I can't leave people. God, I need this reminder. We usually conclude the period of meditation. We're on page 28 of our Big Book Sponsorship Guide with a prayer. Remember, that's talking to God. Just, God, show me all through the day what my next step is to be. God, help me be responsible, loving, kind. Help me live in column 5. What's my next step to be? That Nikki, that we, put your initials there, that NM, we be given whatever we need to take care of such problems. And I can tell you right now, at 51 years old, as I look back, God is taking care of all of my problems. Now, right now in this one, I'm like, it's unknown. What's going to happen? I mean, you and I just talked, Huckmeet, about what's going to happen. And you're just like, I need to be reminded right here that God is taking care of all my problems. What would be different now? We ask especially for freedom from self-will. God, free me from the bondage of self. And here it is. I'm careful to make no requests for ourselves only. I'm not allowed to make requests for myself. I can ask. It says, Nikki, you may ask for yourself. We may ask for ourselves. However, if others will be helped. I had to do that this morning. I had to say, God, remove this. I'm in a dark spot. And I said, remove it, because I had to show up for 150 people on my noodle meeting this morning. And I was able to do it. Help me so I can help others. And God did it, because I'm careful never to pray for my own selfish ends. I really don't need anything, you guys. I really don't. I need this power, or I won't make it. I've been reprogrammed. Many of us have wasted a lot of time doing it, and it doesn't work. I need lottery. I need $1 million. I need a husband. I need lies. It's all fake news. See, we've been programmed. Sweep away all your prejudice. Remember, we were asked on step 2, sweep away your prejudice, think honestly, and search diligently within yourself. All of this stuff is fake news. You do not need a Tesla. You do not need a Bugatti. You do not need anything but this power of love. Okay, promises. Whoa, this is going quick, everybody. You see, in 1 hour, we've recapped. Let me get here. Let me tap the time. Wow, 56 minutes. We've recapped. I've done a little talking, a little experience, strength, and hope sprinkled out, a little sprinkle. And we've done 2 steps. How many people are with your sponsee for an hour on the phone and they've just taken you hostage with their problems? Don't live there anymore. They're sick. They can't differentiate the true from the false. Get them through the steps so you can watch a miracle like I get to watch every day. Every day I'm waking up to thank you, Nikki. Every day I'm waking, and it's not me. I'm just doing what the instructions say. Use me, God. And you hear me. I don't do it perfectly. God, this is not easy. So simple. Step 11, paycheck. Yep. As we go through the day, we pause. That's pause land. What does pause land look like? We talked about it. Rowing your boat gently down the stream. We talked about it. Birds in the sky, don't worry. We talked about, I see my friend's picture on there, sunflowers. They're so beautiful. We talked about, hey, relaxing and taking it easy, food addicts. Drink a big glass of water. Eat some seeded watermelon. Eat some seeded watermelon, not seedless. Relax. This is what my sponsor says. One of them, I have a few. This is one of my other ones. He says like this, no one's dead, honey. And he's Asian, and he'll take his hand and he'll swipe it across. And just that swiping of the hand movement means no one's dead. Relax and take it easy. Let's go have some noodles. I'll pick you up. We'll just have a good time. He just does that little hand swipe. It means, I love you, honey. Chill out. This is not a problem. No one's dead. Okay? Like really think about it. And when do you do that? Agitated or doubtful? Everybody, your sponsor wants to know what agitated or doubtful is. This is what it is. It's anything other than the step 5 promise in our workbook on page 18 of perfect peace and ease alone. If you are not at perfect peace and ease alone, you are agitated and you're doubtful, and you better get to pause land. And then it says, ask for the right thought or action. It says, ask God. If you can't hear God, call your sponsor, call me, call any of us. But it says, ask. You've got to get to pause land. It says we're constantly, all the time, reminding ourselves that we're no longer running the show. Remember, we quit playing God. It doesn't work. We get humble. We humbly say to ourselves many times. Someone reminded me the other day, set an alarm clock, Nikki, every hour on the hour to breathe. Actually, the other day, it was yesterday, he's a breathing instructor, and he says he noticed me and I don't breathe. I hold my breath. Have you guys watched yourself? I don't breathe. I'm like, I need to breathe.
I have a watch that tells me that I hold my breath. I've done it ever since I was little. I used to hold my breath and pass out.
God, you're weird, and I love you, spearhead, and that's a superpower. And then we turn it into a breathing power. Get an Everly on your God squad. Here it is, you guys. Set your timer many times each day to breathe and to get into pause land and say to yourself, thy will be done. Every hour on the hour, thy will be done. Thy will be done. Thy will be done. You can rap it. You can sing it. You can spell it. Okay. And then here's a promise. Nikki, you are in much less danger of excitement. See, it says my line out right here says, I am like, this is why people, when they say, I need a doctor, I've got bipolar. No, you are the doctors of, you are Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. You're literally excitement, fear, anger, worry, self-pity, and foolish decision. That looks like bipolar. That looks like that looks like every disease that they could label me with to give me some antipsychotic drugs in my country. Column 4 looks like psychoses, everybody. Okay? Now, I need to go to a doctor, says your sponsee. Have you done these things? Have you gone to pause land? Have you said many times each day, thy will be done? When you do this and you sponsor and you try this, a spiritual mode of living, then consider the doctor. But you checked it off. You've gone to rehabs, doctors. You've had shock treatment, electric treatment. I sponsor these people. They've had it all. They used to do, what is that? Or they remove your brain. Remember way back when that? No, this is what we need to do. Get to God. We become much more efficient. I'm not tiring so easy. When I'm tired at night, you guys, it's because I'm up early. It's not because I'm foolishly burning up energy. It's just, well, sometimes I am, but I don't tire so easily. I'm not burning up energy foolishly as I did when I was trying to arrange life to suit myself, when I was the actor running the show, when I was playing God, when I was selfish and self-seeking, when I was being driven by 400 forms of madness. It works. It really does. There we go. Let's do 12. Let's do step 12. And this is how simple it is to teach these steps. Now go deeper. Do you know how hard it is to practice this every day? Do you know how hard this is to practice every day? And I like, go deeper. We're going to read it in here because I want to show you guys where I have not been doing this every day. And what we just talked about, your homes, your occupations, I can do it with everybody else, but in my home. So step 12, no morbid reflection, Nikki. You have tapped power. You're going to get this. And you've only been here for a minute. Remember, in God's world, there is no time. I've been here for 12 years. Why am I? Again, that's a fart in the wind. This is God we're talking about. My great-grandmother, my Siti. You have a Siti, okay? And my Siti lived to be 102 years old. That was literally, I'm like, she lived forever. It's a fart in the wind, Nikki. Wake yourselves up. We're just here for a snapshot. So let's make the most of it. How do we do it? Well, step 12 is really where we have it because we've had a spiritual awakening. Every day you need a spiritual awakening. And I put yes. Hey, at the top of your page on step 12, page 29 of the Big Book Sponsorship Workbook, can you put your name is going to be a sponsor? I have it right up here. Nikki is going to be a sponsor. So twice your sponsee on step 12 notes are going to sponsor. And we read it on page 3 of the workbook, right at the beginning and in the end. We're bookending. So when they go, I'm not ready to sponsor, it's like, sorry, sir, madam. And guess what? If you don't sponsor, don't call me your sponsor. If you don't, bye-bye. Bye, Felicia. Bye-bye. Have a good life. Many won't make it. Or go find another sponsor who will put up with that crap. I won't. I'm building a multi-level team for God. What do? We bring people back home to the great reality. And what's our paycheck? Well, we're reading it. Perfect peace and ease alone. Less danger. Okay. So here's part 1. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, you have not had it any other way. You didn't get it through rehab. You didn't get it through a mind-blowing orgasm from your lover. You got it through a spiritual awakening every day. And then it says, we tried. We are students of Yoda. Do or do not. There is no try. So we carry this message. Full stop. We carry Bill W.'s The Big Book and the workbook message. That's it, not my message. And then part 3, which I have not been doing for the last year with the man I love, we are to practice these principles in all our affairs. All our affairs. Number 1, family. Number 2, job. Number 3, newcomer. I had it backwards. God will fix it. I'm not going to worry about it because my heart says I know I can do better. Practical experience. See, that's our experience, strength, and hope. Shows that nothing, no human aid will so much ensure immunity. I want to be immune from my crazy thinking and my acting out behavior as intensive work. I work intensively with other addicts. Now, sometimes I do it too much and I pay dearly for it. So keep a balance, everybody. Don't let your sponsee become like me and turn into like really all I do is sponsor and then I forget about everybody else. That doesn't work either. So intensive is a balance. See, it works. What works? Working intensively with other addicts when other activities fail. What's your other activities? All human aid. I have a lot of people. Nikki, I'm going back to rehab. Nikki, I'm blah, 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 blah. Let me know that works out for you, madam. Nikki, this was me. I have to have a boy. I already have a girl. God gave me a boy and I threw him out. See, because all other activities fail. Oh, if we have a baby, we'll save the marriage. If I get that new job, if just I lose those 50 pounds. Are you guys awake? This is serious. Like, you're not going to get better unless you intensively work with another addict. This is our 12th suggestion. Carry this message, the recipe. Carry this message, the 12-step undiluted message out of the 4th edition of the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. Are you willing to do this? Sometimes my sponsees are like, yes or no. And I get sometimes a big yes. See, you, Nikki, you can help when no one else can. Who's no one else? All those other people. But Nikki, you're not a real alcoholic and you're sponsoring a real alcoholic. Yeah, but I'm a real addict suffering from the real disease of alcoholism, the disease of self, the disease of my distorted thinking, so I can help you. Your therapist won't be able to. I know exactly what it's like. You, Nikki, because our log and loser list matches. I've lost everything. You've lost everything. You're beyond human aid. I'm beyond human aid. You're a food addict. I don't care about that. I'm a gambler, but we can help each other. And you know what I found, and you know this too, Hakmeen, and a lot of you on here, working with other addictions really is like mind-blowing. It really helps you see all your blind spots, and it helps you understand like, wow, your children, other people, you can just look at people and go, wow. And it just really improves your conscious contact. So you can secure that when they're very ill. Remember, we're very ill. This seemed to prove. What's prove? It's a fact. This is not fake news. That one addict could affect another newcomer, an NC, a newcomer, as no non-alcoholic, non-addict could. So one person suffering the disease of alcoholism can help another person suffering the disease of alcoholism, the disease of self, like a normie person can. That's why sometimes your mom, your wife, she could just be a normal one. Your best friend, she's normal. She's not going to know. It also indicated that strenuous work, there it is again, intensive work, strenuous work, no half measures. One addict with another is vital to permanent recovery. If you know my sponsor, Cameron, that's all he's done. I've known him for 20 years. He's been my sponsor since December 16th, 2016. It's now 2024. And I've never even seen him have a real job. He's a sponsor. It says it in the Big Book on page 19. A few of us are fortunate enough. And I was like, that's going to happen to me. And you know what? I don't have a job. I mean, a little thing that I do for some grocery money, but I have to have it or I'd go crazy. I sponsor full time. Now, that's not for all of you. I'm just saying anything's possible. You sponsor one person. You bring one daughter, one son, one person back home to this power of love. I'm telling you, miracles are going to happen. And here's Bill W. This is him. Strenuous work, vital to permanent recovery. See, we want permanent recovery. It also indicated that 29, second paragraph down, one-on-one, no half measures, Nikki working with another addict, newcomer. It's vital. I have to have it. Next line, I soon found. That's Bill W. But I could put my name there. See, I soon found that when all other measures failed, you mean I should move back to California? I need to get this. I need to get that. I need to do this. All other measures failed. See your log list. You're beyond human aid. I need to go back to rehab. I need another session of therapy. No, work with another addict will save your day. big book sponsorship works. It works. Here it is. The broker, Bill W. and the early old timers, they worked hard. Remember, there's a whole entire chapter called Working with Others. These are just key points. We're looking at a page. There's an entire chapter called Working with Others. It says Bill W. and the early old timers worked hard, no half measures, with many addicts on the theory that only an addict could help another addict. Only an alcoholic could help another alcoholic. But they succeeded only in keeping sober, clean, free themselves. See, I've worked with so many people, I couldn't even give you a number, but I'm still here. I mean, if you were, I can reach over here. I've got my little friend, my sponsee. She's dead. Jen B. I loved her. She dropped dead. And she said, last thing she said to me is, Nikki, I'm going to die trying. And so I'm still here. She's not. A lot of my friends are out, relapse. Again, someone messaged me the other day. He was my HVAC guy, you guys. Magic with his hands. I was like, God sent me an angel. He decided to pick up a girl in a crack pipe, and he called me the other day for some cigarette money. When I say he has totally redone my HVAC system, and I said, no, I can't help you. This is going to enable him. I'm not going to give him cigarette money. He can find crack, find cigarettes. See, I'm sober. They're not. They. Who's they? Bill W. and the early O-timers. That's me and some of my friends on here that I see. We suddenly realized that in order to save themselves, they must carry their message to another alcoholic addict. And my note there, well, it's Cameron's workbook, and I have his workbook. It says CF, that's Cameron. Mine, when I update it, will say NM, Nikki M, stays sober, whether the newcomer stays sober or not. See, I'm going to get better whether my son or daughter succeed or not. I'm going to get better whether my mother at 77, she just turned last week, gets better or not. I'm going to get better regardless if I get everything I want or not. This is radical. Why? Next sentence says, we have recovered. We have recovered. Nikki, no one recovers. You never get better. Well, it says I've recovered from a seemingly hopeless, seemingly fake news, hopeless state of mind and body. See, I've recovered from that. I no longer want to die. I no longer want to act out in the way I used to act out. Yeah, it's painful. Some days are real painful, but I've recovered. I have hope, not hopeless anymore. And I've been given the power to help others. There's a starfish story, and I'll just sum it up real quick. You can't help everybody. You can help one starfish, throw it back into the ocean, and you saved one life. You can't help all the zillions of starfish on the sea, Nikki. Pick one up, help one, throw it back in. I've been given power. This isn't mediocre stuff they're talking about. But if you're shaky, if you, Nikki, are shaky, you'd better what? Run out and blow your life up? No, it says you better work with another addict instead. You mean it doesn't say run out and take a person hostage, destroy marriages, liquid shit on your kids, call all your baby daddies and blame them and try and say, I'm going to sue you for past baby money, child support. No, it doesn't say do that. See, that's my old life. I've never spent a day or a dollar in court with either one of them, and thank you, God, for that. It just says work with somebody else. Instead of what? Instead of losing your mind, you better work with someone else. Drill that home. And then let's go deeper here to the promises. Life will take on new meaning. Wow. I lost my job in COVID. I'm 51 years old. I was 47. I was going to kill myself because I said, what's life if you don't have a husband? I'm still here because I know I'm a servant of God. It's not about just taking someone hostage and someone saving me. My life has new meaning. Why? To watch people recover? Wow. You haven't sponsored and saw someone wake up. You have no idea what you're missing. To see them help others, that's what you're doing here, my friend. You have set up with our friend Sony, with all of our friends on here. You said Omar wrote a translation and your other team, Miriam, and you guys are making, I'm watching you help an entire community in Egypt. I can't wait to go. See, this is what happens too when you help others. I've been invited. And he's always like, bring people. Yeah, I will. I got a whole bunch of people who want to come with me, so careful. And it says to watch loneliness vanish. My phone doesn't stop. I've had to charge it 5 times today. And it says right here, to see a fellowship grow up about you. I've started fellowships, left them, and started more, because this is real sponsor, and you got a lot of fellowships. Spiritual Gangsters was me and my 3 sponsees. Now we've got thousands of people in it. Noodle with Nikki was me and 1 spearhead, because I'm like, hey, they're watering down the message because there's now too many people in Spiritual Gangsters. Let's get a Noodle with Nikki spearhead group. And now we're up to 775 people, I think. And that's just in a year or so. Like this. And now I got my whole Egypt tribe. Yeah, my Habibis. Okay. To have a host of friends. You guys have been around. It's not my brother. It's not even my mom or some of my best friends. It's you guys who are around for me right now as I'm going through this little dark spot. I mean, it's crazy what you guys do for me. Okay, and then it says here, this is an experience you must not want to miss. You don't want to miss miracles, everybody. It says, we know what you will not want to miss it. Frequent. That's a lot. We got to be in contact with each other, with newcomers. Remember, they're our new dope, the newcomer. We're teaching them how to teach the steps. And in teaching the steps, we're all going to get miracles. And with each other is a bright spot. On the bottom here, Cameron never said, Nikki, go run out and make amends. Go run out and do this and do that. Go start a home group. He just said, go create your own 100. You know how many people I have to sponsor? And then they'll stay around for a while. So I'm like, wow, I'm up to maybe my own real good posse of 20. And then 10 just go away. And then hundreds more. And then now I've got 30. You see, I may be up to my own, I don't know. I'm not up to 100 yet. I've been here 12 years. It takes time. So we are at step 12, and now we're going to be at the vision for you. And it's so easy, Nikki, to let up on a spiritual program of action and rest on your laurels. What does that mean? I get lazy when I rest on my laurels. What do? Laurels. I get satisfied. Laurels mean I get satisfied with past successes. I get real satisfied with my past success. I rest on my laurels. See, it says we're headed for trouble if we do. If we do what? If we rest on our laurels and stop taking action, if I get lazy. Number 1, don't get cocky. Number 2, laziness kills addicts. Laziness, let me repeat that. Laziness kills an addict. Number 3, you got to stay green and growing. Keep reaching for this power. See, we're headed for trouble if we do, if we get lazy and rest on our laurels. For alcohol, for obsessive compulsive behavior, for the disease of self is a subtle foe. The liar wants to kill me. My ego wants to kill me. Some people call it, whatever, evil spirits. I don't care, the devil. I don't care what you call it. I have a liar every time that says it's going to be different. It's not going to be different because I'm not cured of alcoholism. It says we are not cured. See, it's in remission, waiting for me to get lazy, to get cocky, and it pops out again and eats my soul and eats yours too. Because what we really have is a daily reprieve contingent. A daily reprieve contingent based on the maintenance. There's that word maintenance. How do you maintain something? You improve conscious contact, step 11, based on the maintenance of our spiritual condition. It says every day. Did you guys hear that? You don't get a day off here, sirs. I'm looking at my dudes. Yeah, I see you too. Yeah, you too. You guys got wives. Like, come on, you don't get a day off. Not only your husbands. I think you're a daddy too, both of you. Yeah, I know you are, BB, but yeah. You don't get a day off. You do not get a day off. This is so, wow. I'm just like, see, it's hitting me. It's hitting me again. Year 12. And I'm like, what? Every day is a day we must carry the vision, not of Nikki's will, of God's will. Column 5 into all our activities. Remember, family, job, newcomer. Not newcomer, job, and family, Nikki. You got to do your family first, everyone. I have no family. I have a cat. No one loves me. Then you better take care of the cat. You better take care of yourself. You better take care of your little God squad. So simple. You got to help these people see what they can't see. Okay. And then it says, how can I best serve thee? Remember, we're going to set our timer every day. How can I best serve thee? Thy will, not mine, be done. These are the thoughts. Remember, we have thoughts. I'm going to tell you right now, if I think it, it happens. I don't know how the hell I got a hot tub. Well, mom paid for it. My mom bought it for me, but I know it was paid for. I don't know how I got it. It was COVID. We're not getting any extra money, income. Like, it's crazy, but I got a hot tub down there. Now I see my friend on here too, Jason. When I told my contractor, I'm like, I need a sauna now. And then my friend, God bless her, she had a sauna. She put it in my home. Like, these are the miracles. Like, I just think it and it happens. Those are little things. I just think I'm going to be okay and sleep good. I sleep good. I think no one loves me. Then I'm alone and no one loves me. And this is radical. They don't want everybody. They don't want to tell us how powerful we are. You understand? They don't want us to know. Who's they, Nikki? Oh, well, that's another conversation for another day. Call me privately. Okay, let's finish reading this because I'm at 20% battery and I want to plug in and get my Madonna headset on. My Bluetooth, my Madonna headset. Okay, here we go. And no, I don't need crowdfunding. I can go and get my priority. I need to do it. There's fear around it because I just don't like that stuff. And it's okay. My phone's working. It says, how can I best serve thee? These are the thoughts which must go with us constantly. Does everyone understand what constantly is? My Arab-speaking friends, that's all the time. My Arab-speaking friends in Egypt, that's all the time. You can exercise your willpower. You can never, and I don't mean sick love. You can never love enough. What's love? Agape love. Mind your business. Just love them. Don't tell them what to do. Agape love. You can exercise your willpower. Column 5 along this line, all you wish. It's proper use of the will. Column 5, not column 4. You're just going to vacillate. And the thing here is that we're going to always course correcting. I'm flying from Toronto to Egypt. We hit some turbulence. Should I just say, let's all just crash in the middle of the ocean? Forget it. Or how about I'm almost to Egypt? I can see the tarmac, but there's so much turbulence. And we're like, you know what? Let's go back all the way back to Toronto. No, you don't do that. You course correct. You grab the steering wheel of the plane or whatever. I don't know how you do it. Of the submarine. I don't know how my brother did that. So awesome. And what do? You just course correct. You don't burn your life into the ground. You remember that we're going to make mistakes. Radical. Okay. So we feel that elimination of our drinking, of our using, of our acting out behavior. And if you want to know what that is, we read it. Now, let me just read it real quick because we're almost done here. So the elimination of your obsessive compulsive patterns such as alcohol, drugs, sugar, food, eating, nicotine, gambling, sex, love, fantasy, pornography, overworking, tasking, electronic media, self-harm, mutilation, anorexia, social anorexia, bulimia, overspending, cluttering, debting, hoarding, emotions, codependency. There you see. The elimination of those things is just a beginning. What? Because it really asks for the destruction of self. It says a much more important demonstration of our principles lies before us in our respective home. See, there it is. I missed that one. I don't miss it. I read it so many, but homes, there it is. A much more important demonstration of these principles lies before us in our homes, in our respective homes. I skipped that one and went right to occupations and affairs, and it's destroying relationships for me. But it says here, thus we grow. I got to keep growing. Remember, I got to keep growing in effectiveness and understanding. Effectiveness and Hey, Rastas, overstanding. That's what my Rasta says. Overstanding. Jah Rastafari. King of Kings. Okay. And so can you. You can grow, Nikki. Though you be one person with this book. How about the workbook? See, the big book, you need to teach 164 pages. We've all been gifted with 30 pages. Lazy. Thank you, Cameron F. See, we believe, and there's that word hope. Step 2, we hope the big book, our workbook, contains all you need to begin. See, I know what you're thinking, new friends. You're saying to yourself, I'm jittery, Nikki. I'm alone. I can't do that. But you can. Circle yes, my new sponsee, my new friend. You can do this. I'm not smarter than you. I'm not better than you. Actually, probably most of you are way smarter than me. Not better than. We're all equal. But so we know what you're thinking. You're jittery, alone. You can't do that. You forget. Hey, every day, everybody, we forget that we have just now tapped. That's an important word, tapped. It doesn't say you consumed it. It's all encompassing. You just need to tap it. Just a little tap. Boop, boop, tap, touch, tap, tappy, tap, tap. A source of power. This is power. I know it doesn't record good when I scream because I just want to scream, power. This is power, the power we've been looking for, you guys. And it's radical because I'm telling you, the miracles in my life are next level. It's greater than myself. It's greater than the booze. It's greater than the drugs. It's greater than the men and the money and the women and the kids and the cars and the houses and the food and the social media and my need to be right. To duplicate, to repeat, to do this over again with such backing, what we have accomplished is only a matter of willingness. So you got to be willing every day. You got to be patient. And if you're listening to this, we're in 2024, almost ending the year. It's very hard to be patient because we're in a system where you can push a button and food shows up at your house. You push a button and everything will show up at your house. You can get instant gratification. This says patience and labor. What's labor? Work. Remember? We talked about being reborn, birthing. You ever seen an animal birth something? Forget humans. It's not easy. It's not a simple process. Sorry, it's not an easy process. It's simple, but not easy. So here's a little note. Remember. Recovery from a seemingly, that's fake news, hopeless, that's a lie from the pit of hell, state of mind and body is possible by working the 12 steps, line out all day, every day, all day, every day. Let's go all day, every day. Okay, I used to be a cheerleader too from California. I've had such an exciting life, you guys. Thank you for reminding me. As directed, everybody, if it's not in the book, your lips should not be moving. As directed in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous every day. Oh, there's the word every day. There's much more work ahead. This is just the beginning. Just the beginning, everyone. Remember not to get cocky. I'm God. Or lazy. I know good. I should just die and give up. Don't do that, you guys. It says very simply, trust God, a God of your understanding. Clean house. That's steps, all the steps, all damn day. And help others. Like, this is radical. Together we can do this. So create your own fellowship, sponsor, share this workshop with everyone you know and love. Sit down and do it in a group. Push play with your family and friends. Thank you, everybody. I want to thank everyone who participated. There's no me, it's we. Everly and Liza for all your work. Sony, I know you set this all up. This is going to be a really good tool for the... Can you pray us out in your lovely mother tongue?
اللهم امنحنا السكينة نتقبل الأشياء التي لا نستطيع تغييرها والشجاعة لتغيير الأشياء التي نستطيع تغييرها والحكمة لمعرفة الفرق بينها. آمين.
I love you all, Habibis, okay? Together, love
We
you.
love you more. Thanks, Liza. Thanks, everyone.